Hi everyone, welcome to the lecture number 13 of unit number 1 matrices. In this lecture, we start the last topic of the unit number 1, that is eigenvalues, eigenvectors and their properties. Okay, so before discussing about what do we mean by eigenvalues, eigenvectors of a matrix, we'll go through some results first. Okay, some theory part I am going to discuss. From that, you will come to know what do we mean by eigenvalue and eigenvector of a matrix. Okay, so let A be any square matrix. This is very important line. In eigenvalues and eigenvectors, we are going to face only square matrices. Okay, any non-zero vector x, capital X, is said to be an eigenvector of a matrix A if there exists a scalar lambda such that it satisfies this equation Ax equal to lambda x. The meaning of this is like a linear transformation y equal to Ax. Okay, we have studied the linear transformation y equal to Ax. This is the linear transformation that maps the vector x to y, and here this is also a linear transformation which has mapped the vector x to vector lambda times x, where lambda is any scalar. Okay, instead of y we are having lambda times x. It means the vector is mapped to the multiple of that vector. Okay, lambda x will be the vector multiple of this vector x, and this x is non-zero vector. This is very important. Okay, we never have a zero vector here. Fine, and non-zero vector x is called as an eigenvector when it satisfies this such a relation x equal to lambda times x. So by a non-zero vector, it means whenever you are going to do the calculation of eigenvector, it will always be equal to it is always non-zero vector. Okay, that is very important thing. Next, also lambda is called the eigenvalue of a matrix A corresponding to lambda is called an eigenvalue of A and x is corresponding eigenvector. So whatever number you will get here, okay, this lambda will be corresponding, lambda will be an eigenvalue of one of the eigenvalue of this matrix A, and the x will be the corresponding eigenvector, means eigenvector corresponding to that particular lambda. Okay, for different lambda we'll have different vectors, right? Now consider again this equation Ax equal to lambda x. Okay, so if you take lambda x on this side, we'll get Ax minus lambda x equal to 0. But Ax, at present Ax is what? A vector, and lambda x also vector, so the subtraction is possible. Now when we take x common, so what will remain? A minus lambda will remain, but A is a matrix, so we must have here in the second term one matrix. So when we take x common, we need to write here identity matrix, so for existence of this subtraction. Okay, so A minus lambda into I means this is identity matrix, this is some matrix, square matrix, and the order of both matrices will be similar. Now after taking x common, we have obtained one matrix. The matrix is what? A minus lambda I into vector x equal to 0. So this is some matrix into vector equal to 0. So this is like a homogeneous system of equation. Okay, now we know that x is non-zero, right? So as x is non-zero, this vector is non-zero. It means we know the solution of that system. This is a homogeneous system, and non-zero solution means non-trivial solution, and this system is having non-trivial solution, and this will imply determinant of this matrix will be 0. We have discussed this also in the previous lecture, that for a non-trivial solution of a homogeneous system, we always have the determinant of that coefficient, determinant of the matrix of coefficient matrix equal to 0. So determinant of A minus lambda equal to 0. As equation 1 is a homogeneous system, we can conclude this. Okay, this is like homogeneous system, and this x is non-zero, hence determinant is 0. Now I have written that in the determinant notation, determinant of A minus lambda equal to 0. Let us give this equation number 2. Now the equation 2 is called characteristic equation. It is called as what? Characteristic equation. And characteristic polynomial denoted by ch of lambda is given by, characteristic polynomial is denoted by ch of lambda. It is a polynomial in the form of lambda, and it is equal to what? Determinant of A minus lambda I, which is the left hand side of this equation. The left hand side of this equation is called as characteristic polynomial, and when we equate that characteristic polynomial to 0, that equation is called as characteristic equation. Next, the roots of the characteristic equation 2 gives eigenvalues of the matrix A. Okay, So whatever roots, this will be some polynomial in lambda, okay, and when you get to 0, you'll get a characteristic equation. So the roots we can determine of that characteristic equation, and whatever the roots of that characteristic equation will get, that many eigenvalues will get for the matrix A. Fine. The next thing now, if A is a square matrix of order n, then the degree of characteristic polynomial is n, okay, and as the degree of the characteristic polynomial is n, we'll get n roots there, okay. This will imply lambda 1 lambda 2 dot 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 lambda n. So I have denoted them by lambda 1 lambda 2 lambda n are the eigenvalues of A. So what are the roots of the characteristic equation we have? That roots are what? Eigenvalues of the matrix A. So whenever it is square matrix of order n, it will have n roots. The degree of the polynomial will be n. Hence n eigenvalues will exist for a square matrix of order n. So if we have square matrix of order 2, 2 eigenvalues will get. If we have square matrix of order 3, we'll get 3 eigenvalues like that. Okay. Next definition. The set of eigenvalues of A is called spectrum of A, and it is denoted by spec of A. Okay. Spec of A is one set in which we list all the eigenvalues of that matrix A. Okay. So whenever we write all the eigenvalues in the form of set, that set is called as spectrum of that matrix A. Next, the equation determinant of the equation A minus lambda times x equal to 0 is called a matrix equation. Okay, this equation also we have discussed. Okay, after taking that lambda x on this side, we get this equation, and this equation can be called as a matrix equation also. Now we are going to use, we have just discussed what do we mean by lambda eigenvalues. Now we are going to discuss about the eigenvector. Okay, to calculate eigenvector corresponding to eigenvalues lambda equal to lambda 1, to every eigenvalue there will be some eigenvector, corresponding eigenvector will have. Okay, so we are going to do the discussion of eigenvector corresponding to one eigenvalue lambda equal to lambda 1. We put lambda equal to lambda 1 in the matrix equation. Okay, so in this matrix equation we are going to put the value of lambda equal to lambda 1. So we'll get this equation A minus lambda 1 times I equal into x equal to 0, which is like homogeneous system again. On solving above homogeneous system, we obtain a non-zero eigenvector x corresponding to eigenvalue lambda equal to lambda 1. We know how to solve this homogeneous system. The solution of this homogeneous system is x, capital X, and that x will be a non-zero vector. Whenever we put eigenvalues in this equation, we always get a non-zero vector. Okay, and then non-zero vector corresponding to every eigenvalue will be the eigenvector corresponding to that particular eigenvalue lambda equal to lambda 1. Okay, so whenever we are going to do the calculations for eigenvalues, we are going to obtain the roots of the characteristic polynomial, and after getting the eigenvalues for calculating eigenvectors, we are going to put the obtain the eigenvalues in the matrix equation. So from that is for every eigenvalue we are going to get some non-zero vector. Okay, next, some important properties of eigenvalues and eigenvector we are going to discuss now. First property, eigenvalues of a triangular or diagonal matrix are diagonal elements only. So whenever you have in front of you one diagonal matrix or triangular matrix like upper triangular or lower triangular matrix, simply you can obtain its eigenvalues directly by observing the diagonal elements. Okay, so whatever the diagonal elements on the main diagonal you will have there, that entries will be your eigenvalues. So in that case, you don't have to obtain the characteristic equation and all. Directly you can list the eigenvalues from the diagonal entries. But for that purpose, you need to identify whether the given matrix is triangular or diagonal matrix. All these properties are very important. That plays very important role in calculations of problems on eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Next, second property. If you know lambda 1, lambda 2 up to lambda n are eigenvalues of matrix A. Okay, so if you know the eigenvalues of some matrix A, then from that you can determine the eigenvalues of various matrices. First, 1 upon lambda 1, 1 upon lambda 2 dot 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 1 upon lambda n are the eigenvalues of A inverse. So whenever A inverse exists for some matrix, okay, its eigenvalue if you want to calculate, if you know the eigenvalues of A, just take the reciprocal of all the eigenvalues, you will get A inverse eigenvalues. Clearly, this eigenvalues of A inverse exist whenever all the eigenvalues are non-zero. If some eigenvalue is 0, then definitely A inverse of that matrix will not exist and will not have eigenvalues there, okay, of A inverse. Whenever if sum of the eigenvalue is 0, okay, only to the matrix whose inverse exists. To such a matrices, we can determine the eigenvalues by taking the reciprocal of all the eigenvalues. Next, k times lambda 1, k times lambda 2 up to k times lambda n are the eigenvalues of the matrix k times A. So if you know the eigenvalues of matrix A, from that you can determine the eigenvalues of k times A, where k is any scalar. Means you can determine the eigenvalue of 5A, 7A, 9A, like that. Okay. So what you have to do for that purpose, to every eigenvalue we are going to multiply by that same scalar k. Next, third property, lambda 1 raised to m, lambda 2 raised to m, dot dot dot, lambda n raised to m are the eigenvalues of a to the power m. So if you know the eigenvalues of a, you can determine the eigenvalues of powers of a, like a square, a cube, a raised to 10, a raised to 100. So what you need to do, whatever the eigenvalues of a you are having, just raise the power of every eigenvalue to the same power, whatever matrix power you are asked to be, okay, where you are asked to calculate. Okay. So if you want to calculate a raised to 100's eigenvalue, to every eigenvalue you raise the power 100. Next, lambda 1 plus minus k, lambda 2 plus minus k, lambda n plus minus k are the eigenvalues of a plus minus k times I. Okay. So if you add in matrix A some k times identity matrix, okay, where k is a number, and if you want its eigenvalue, either you plus or minus, you can consider plus or minus sign. If you want to find the a plus ki, like a plus 2i eigenvalue, then in every eigenvalue of a you add the constant 2, okay, where k is we have taken as 2. So lambda 1 plus 2, lambda 1 2 plus 2, lambda n plus 2 will be the eigenvalue of a plus 2i. And if you have subtraction, at that time subtract that k from every eigenvalue. Okay, so this is property number 2 regarding the eigenvalue of a, and from that various matrices of a, with a inverse, k times a raised to m, a plus ki, okay, a minus ki. Third and fourth properties are very important. The trace of a matrix A, trace of A is equal to the sum of eigenvalues of A. And what do you mean by trace? Trace means the sum of diagonal elements of sum of main diagonal elements of A. So when you add all the main diagonal entries of the matrix A, that number, that addition is called as trace of A, and that trace of A, that addition is same as the sum of the eigenvalues of that matrix A. Okay, means lambda 1 plus lambda 2 up to lambda n will be equal to the trace of that matrix A. Next, property number 4, determinant of A equal to product of eigenvalues of A. So when you take the multiplication of all the eigenvalues, like lambda 1 into lambda 2 into up to lambda n into, then the product of the eigenvalues will be equal to the value of the determinant of that matrix A. Okay, this is very nice property. Next one, spectrum of A is same as spectrum of A transpose. The meaning of this property is eigenvalues of A, matrix A, and its transpose are same. Property number 6, the eigenvalues of symmetric matrix are real numbers. Whenever you have in front of a symmetric matrix, what do you mean by symmetric matrix? A equal to A transpose. Okay, such matrices are called as symmetric matrices. Eigenvalues of such symmetric matrices are real numbers. They will be never imaginary numbers. Okay, means the roots of the characteristic equation in the case of symmetric matrices will be always real numbers. You will not have any imaginary root there in the case of symmetric matrices. Next, property number 7, the eigenvector is always a non-zero vector. This is by definition itself. This is very important property. Whenever you are going to obtain whenever you are going to do the calculation for eigenvector, your answer should not be 0 in any case. Okay, because eigenvectors are always non-zero vectors. Next, property number 8, the eigenvectors of a symmetric matrix corresponding to distinct eigenvalues are orthogonal. Okay, orthogonal means they will be perpendicular to each other. These are like vectors in space. Okay, eigenvectors are the vectors in space. So whenever you are having in front of you symmetric matrix, and if that symmetric matrix is having distinct eigenvalue, then eigenvector corresponding to distinct eigenvalues of a symmetric matrix are always orthogonal. Means the multiplication, when you take the multiplication of two vectors, how we multiply two vectors? By taking dot product. But here we are having matrices in the form of column vectors. Okay, vectors we are having in the form of matrices. So instead of taking dot product, we take this type of product, that is x1 transpose into x2, or you can take x2 transpose into x1, and that product has to be 0 if you have three vectors, then you take any two vectors out of three, their dot product, their multiplication of this type, that is multiplication of two matrices of this type, will be equal to 0. This is also one of the nice property of eigenvectors for the symmetric matrices corresponding to distinct eigenvalues. They are perpendicular to each other. Next one. Now we are going to discuss few results. Okay, these results will help you while doing the examples on eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Okay, now once you understand all these results, we are going to do the examples using this result in coming lecture. Okay, for a 2 by 2 matrix, in our syllabus we will face either 2 by 2 matrix or 3 by 3 matrix. So we have to worry about only 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 matrix. So for a 2 by 2 matrix, characteristic equation determinant of A minus lambda equal to 0. You can determine that characteristic equation using this shortcut method. Okay, because every time calculation of determinant will take time, so it's better you use shortcut method. So characteristic equation of that matrix can be obtained directly by using this formula: lambda square minus, as it is 2 by 2 matrix, its polynomial degree will be 2, and it is of this type, lambda square minus s1 lambda plus determinant of A equal to 0. Determinant of A you can calculate easily. Now what is unknown? S1. What is the meaning of S1? S1 is the trace of the matrix, that is the sum of main diagonal entries. So you determine the trace, determine the determinant, and substitute here, you will get the second degree polynomial, and the roots of that polynomial will be your eigenvalues. This is how you are going to do in the case of 2 by 2 matrix. For a 3 by 3 matrix also we are having one formula, shortcut formula for characteristic equation. Characteristic equation determinant of A minus lambda equal to 0 in the case of 3 by 3 matrix is given by lambda cube minus s1 lambda square plus s2 lambda minus determinant of A equal to 0. Okay, so the terms are alternate plus minus s1 s2 determinant of A in the case of 3 by, and this is lambda cube, lambda square, lambda, and lambda raised to 0, that is 1. So S1 again that has same meaning, it is a trace of A. S2, now S2 is what? Sum of minors of main diagonal entries. So whatever main diagonal entries you are having, for 3 by 3 matrix you will have 3 entries. Of every entry you calculate minor. You know how to obtain the minor of each element. Okay, in the case of 3 by 3 matrix, and take the sum of all the 3 minors, you will get the S2. So I have written here for the 3 by 3 matrix, minor of A11, I have considered first diagonal entry as A11, second as A22, second diagonal entry, and third diagonal entry is A33. If you calculate their minors, so you will have 2 by 2 determinants, and the addition of these 3 2 by 2 determinants will be your S2. Okay, A22, the minor of A11 is A22, A23, A32. These are the positions of the entries, row wise and column wise, and the 3 determinants when you calculate, you will get the S2. And after putting S1, S2 and determinant in this equation, you will get a third degree polynomial, and the third degree polynomial's root will be your required eigenvalues. This, once you get the polynomial, you can determine the roots on calculators also in both cases. Fine. Now very important one, Cramer's rule. This rule you have already studied, and this rule we are going to use for the calculation of eigenvectors. So in eigenvector calculations, you are going to get two equations of this type. So after putting the eigenvalue of lambda in matrix equation, you will come across two such equations: a1x plus b1y plus c1z equal to 0, a2x plus b2y plus c2z equal to 0. Then you need to calculate the vector x, capital X, and that is nothing but, the vector capital X is nothing but what? X, Y, Z for a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, so you need to obtain the solution for x, y, z. So that can be directly obtained using Cramer's rule. Consider any two equations. Whatever equations you get, out of the two equations you consider, and that will be equal to 0 because we are having homogeneous system. Okay, so how we are going to obtain the values of x, y, z? By determining this ratio, x upon determinant of coefficients of y and z, that is b1 c1 b2 c2, b1 c1 b2 c2. Here the second variable is minus y. Okay, minus y upon a1 c1 a2 c2, a1 c1 a2 c2. Drop the coefficient of y and consider x and z coefficient in the case of y, and z upon, now drop this a1 b1 a2 b2. Okay, if you don't want to take minus y here, then if you take plus y, at that time this c1 c2 column you need to write before a1 a2 column. Okay, c1, just interchange the position of c1 c2 and a1 a2. Okay, you can write here plus also, but try to follow the sequence: x upon x upon coefficients of y and z, minus y upon coefficients of x and z, and z upon coefficients of x and y. After determining these three determinants, just equate this ratio to some t belongs to R, where t is any real number. So after taking cross multiplication, you will get all x, y, z in terms of t, and that values of x, y, z you need to put in this vector to get the required eigenvector. Fine. So this is how you are you will need this Cramer's rule in calculation. Okay. Now that's it from this lecture. This is the discussion that we have done for the eigenvalues, eigenvector, and their properties we have discussed. So for the calculation in the problems, these three results are going to help us for the calculation of eigenvalues and eigenvector. Theory part also we have discussed thoroughly. This rule also we are going to use in the calculation of eigenvector. So hope you understood all this discussion. If you need any help in any of the concept, you can ask me or you can write in comment box. Okay. So that's it from this lecture. In coming lecture we are going to do the examples on eigenvalues and eigenvector. Thank you.